Hi everyone. So morning and evening for those of you overseas, afternoon if you're closer to home. I'm Nolene Hammond-Jones. I'm the International Careers Manager at Lancaster University Management School. I work closely with the careers team based centrally who look after all the other faculties. I look after all international employers on behalf of the university, and I work with our international students. Today is the first session of many that are coming up that are dedicated to helping our international and EU students with your global careers. So moving on, I just want to say hello. I know that we're a very diverse community. I myself am Irish, so Diadit, you'll see that there. And welcome to today's session. I hope you're all settling in. I hope everybody's starting to, if you're new to the campus, you're starting to find your way around, understand what facilities, services are on campus. If not, we have a great student support team. And don't forget, you also have student support in your colleges. So please do access that support as well. And for those of you returning, welcome back. The weather is not fantastic. It's a bit chilly today, but welcome back to campus. And for those overseas, welcome. It's great to join our community together because we are, as a university, working across the globe with campuses in Ghana, Malaysia, China, and Europe. So this might seem obvious to some of you, but I really wanted to point out that making the most of studying at Lancaster University is something that employers expect now. They are not looking for academics, those who, good scores equal good jobs. Employers want more. They want to know that you made the most of your time at university, that you got involved, that you developed your skills, your communication skills whilst at university. And with an international focus and this international global presence that we have at Lancaster, it does open up global networks and also opens doors for you as we have such a strong international reputation with employers. I work with over 600 employers globally, and they repeatedly have told me that they have several students or several graduates that work for them that have studied at Lancaster, and they really value the education that comes out of Lancaster University. Whilst studying here, it's important to not just develop those strong communication and language skills, but practice them. If you don't practice those language skills, you lose them. So if you are in that bubble at the moment, which is absolutely normal, I have been there. When I went to university, I found fellow Irish students. I lived in a house with Irish people. I worked in an Irish pub when at university overseas, and it made me feel safe. But stepping out of that zone and just practicing those skills is really important. And confidence as well is built through that network, through meeting individuals from other countries and really putting yourself in a situation where you can learn new skills, meet new people, and potentially join a new club or society. Cultural awareness is also gained through this and open-mindedness, and we value those global and cultural knowledge and insights that you bring to this campus, but also learning about other cultures. I come from an English-speaking country. We have got our own language as well, but my culture is completely different to that of the British culture, and it's great learning all the different nuances. You'll also have realized, if you haven't already, that in the UK, the United Kingdom, there are so many different accents as well. So you're not just learning English, you're learning a local dialect as well. And international consultancy projects are also available through the university and through the career services and possibly your program as well. So do check. And these offer you the space and time with employers to practice skills that you were learning through your academic program. And at the university, you can learn and gain business and work experiences. There are opportunities to gain part-time jobs, to volunteer, to be able to work. At the moment, we are recruiting ambassadors, specifically in LUMS, but also across the university, which allows you to work around your academic schedule and timetable. And in addition to that, we have the latest platforms and online access to global employers. I have a whole suite of events lined up, and there are more in the planning pipeline that I have shared with you through the most recent newsletter. And that also will be updated via the Teams channel that was shared in that newsletter. So if you haven't signed up to the Teams channel, do, because that's where I'll put regional specific information, either recruitment, events or vacancies, but also I will be sharing updates at the university. And by studying at Lancaster, you get lifelong support through career services, lifelong support, which is fantastic, because in 3 years' time, if you find yourself in a role you're not happy with or you're looking for a change, then there's an opportunity there for you to come back and have a discussion with one of our specialist consultants or coaches, and to see how we can help you make that transition. And the specialist support to access jobs in the UK. And we have platforms such as Student Circus and Higher Ed, which you can access through your careers portals to gain information on the UK job market and see what jobs are available in the UK for international students. And post-study visa support has been put in place for this academic year, which allows you to access visa support through a half-hour appointment with an immigration solicitor. And you'll find more information on that on our Moodle. So do log into your Moodle and do check. Career support at Lancaster, we have a variety of careers resources, cutting edge technology, which I mentioned to you. If you haven't, and I'll share this on the slides, how you can access this, but there is Ab Integro and Career Edge Plus, which will help you to identify areas in your career development that may need addressing, that you may need to look at and look, how can I improve, but also highlight to you areas where you're doing really well. We run a variety of skills workshops across the school and the university. So please do log into Careers Connect. Once you have your student logins, you should be able to log into Careers Connect, and I'll share that again with you in a bit, how you could do that. But all the careers events and vacancies can be found on there, and also be able to book those one-to-one guidance appointments. You can practice assessments and get psychometric test tutoring. We have a test tutor who is going to be available through the career service for you to gain advice and insights into psychometric testing. If you're not sure, psychometric testing, they're small tests. They can either test your numeracy or math skills, your situational judgment, so how you'd behave in a certain situation, personality tests to see what kind of personality you have. And employers use this to see if you're going to be a good fit for the organization. So understanding what these tests are and how they work are really important. Workplace readiness is also something that we help you with through a variety of different sessions, online and in person, workshops that will help you to understand what is expected of you in those first 100 days of work. We keep you updated via social media and blog, and also share with you the latest labour market information, not just for the UK, but also overseas. I bring to you through, as today, webinars and videos and advice on CVs and application forms. There's an interview simulation as well, which you can book either through Careers Connect, or you can come to one of our interview workshops, and that will help you practice your interview skills. And we have a number of great global employer events coming up. The support for international students, we collaborate with key in-country agencies. I work very closely with the British Council across the globe, in particular across Asia and India, but also the British Chamber of Commerce and the Confucius Institute. We work extensively with employers from across the world, Europe, Middle East, and Asia, and we're running a number of visa sessions, which I shared with you in the newsletter. Those visa sessions, there will be a visa session in English and a visa session in Mandarin coming up at the end of this month. So if you haven't already signed up, those are going to be very popular, and you're also going to be competing with students from other universities for that. So please do sign up as soon as possible. The specialist workshops that we run involve key labour market information, finding jobs back in your home country if you're looking to return home after your academic studies, Workplace readiness, I mentioned that already, but also working cross-culturally. So what it takes to work in a multicultural environment. And having this multicultural experience at university can really help with that adaptation. And also as well, job search strategy or job search action planning and CV sessions. We also have a number of bespoke messages as well for our students who speak Chinese, because some of these messages are very complicated and are shared with you in that format. So please do keep an eye on all emails that come from me. I'm a real person, Nolene Hammer-Jones. When you get an email from me, please read it, because it will be something important. So Career Edge Plus is a resource that we have. You can access as a LUMS student via the Careers website. You can also access this on the portal through the LUMS Careers Moodle and also your Careers Moodle. And within the Careers portal, you'll see Career Edge Plus at the very top. And this includes other resources such as CV 360. So if you haven't got a CV, now is the time to start creating one. And CV 360 is an online platform that helps you to create that CV and gives you feedback on your CV. So before you make an appointment to get your CV checked, which you can do on Careers Connect, please do run it through CV 360 in order for you to be able to ensure that it's of a level and you're making the most of that appointment. If you're completely stuck and you're thinking, I have no idea where to start with a CV, which is completely normal. I do this for a living and I struggle to write my own CV. It's okay, make an appointment, come to speak to one of the careers consultants or the career coaches, and they will help you to understand how to start that process, what that process involves. And the earlier you engage with careers, the better. I know a lot of you, and I've gotten a few emails already where many of you are saying, I can't attend this because it clashes with a lecture. It's important to attend your lectures and your seminars, but equally you are here for your career. So at points you need to make a call, you need to make a decision. How am I going to manage my career alongside my studies? How am I going to multitask? And multitasking is so important. I'm not saying miss your lectures or seminars in any way, shape, or form, but how can I gain the skills I need if there's a clash? What do I need to do? So it's using that that skill to be able to multitask, to manage your career and your studies simultaneously. In addition to that, we have got strong partnerships with our international employers. For those of you, I haven't shared it yet, but the Asia Careers Fair is happening in March. So it'll be happening online in March between the 6th and the 10th of March. So make a note in your diary. That's where we'll have a number of employers from across Asia recruiting students into roles within Asia across it'll include big named firms, international companies, the likes of Shopee, EY, PwC, but also smaller to medium-sized companies as well. So it should suit most students across all sectors. Those visa information sessions, once again, they're going to be, we are running them here at Lancaster, but we have a number of other universities who are going to be accessing those sessions. So as I said, spaces are limited. I'm not just saying that, they really are limited. So if you think that we have over 410,160 international students across the UK, some of those are going to be able to access these sessions, so get booked on because there's limited spaces. Student Circus are a fantastic resource that we pay for on your behalf so that you can access. It's a careers portal for international students, and it shares job boards. So jobs that have already been vetted, and those employers sponsor visas. So if you're looking to stay in the UK longer term, then that is the platform that you need to register on and engage with. Higher Ed is a great global careers portal. So if you're looking to move to a third country or to return home and you haven't worked in your home country before, it's important to familiarize yourself with the global labor market and also the practices and recruitment practices back home. Our global workshops and one-to-one guidance, I mentioned that, already available, and access those international experiences. If you can't find an opportunity as an undergraduate, for instance, to get some experience in the UK, then look at making the most of those summers back home. What can you do back home? It doesn't matter where you work in the world, employers value that experience. So it doesn't matter if that work experience was back home, was with the family business, was online, creating a blog or creating your social media presence. Employers value that. You just need to be able to communicate the value of those experiences to employers, and we can help you do that. It's important to plan. And it's so important to plan because we are in very uncertain times. Things at the moment in terms of the graduate labour market, but also the world economy is in flux. And it's important for you to make the most of that information that you've got, the access to networks, the global contacts, to ensure that you've got a robust plan in place. And in order to plan effectively, you must research. The number of students I meet at the end of their program who say, now I'm ready to start looking for a job, you're 8 months too late. You need to start researching from the moment you get back, because a lot of the big employers that you might be interested in working for, whether it's in the UK, China, Malaysia, Singapore, India, they are recruiting now. So they are recruiting at the moment for returning students. So if you're a master's student, now is the time to start applying for jobs. If you're a third-year student, now is the time to start applying for jobs if you're not going on to do a master's. If you're a first-year student, now is the time to start planning. So what experiences can you gain? What can you do right now to build on that CV, to build on that experience? And gain that knowledge through the research. And the research is researching employers, sectors, labour markets, visas. What are your options? The more you know, the more empowered you are to make informed decisions and informed career decisions. And that helps to build your self-awareness, understanding what are my values, what are my strengths, what am I good at, what am I motivated in, what am I interested in? Because the more motivated and interested you are in a career, the more successful you are going to be in that career. So it's about, as well, being self-aware, and that then contributes to your personal development. So what am I good at and what do I need to work on? What areas can I build on in terms of skills, and what areas can I maintain? And that all feeds into building a robust action plan. So knowing what I want to do, where I want to go. And it's still okay to get to that point where you're not quite sure, but you have some ideas. And that's where the career service can help. We can talk you through all of your thinking, your decision making. Why are you coming up with these ideas of possible careers? And how can we help you to make a more robust decision on that? So I get a lot of questions about work during study. I know, again, it's a fantastic way of building up your experience on your CV. But this is an FYI. So you as an undergraduate can work 20 hours a week in term time in the UK, full-time in holidays in the UK or your home country. And the holidays include Christmas, Easter and summer. For postgraduate master's students, you can also work 20 hours a week in term time in the UK and full-time over Easter and Christmas only. The summer is considered term time. That is when you're either doing your final project or your dissertation. So you're not in a position to work full-time in the UK. PhD students, you can arrange up to 8 weeks leave per year and extend that their leave for 1 year. And you can do most types of work on your student visa, but you cannot be self-employed. So if an employer, if you're not getting a paycheck, if you're not paying national insurance, if you've not given a national insurance number, and I'll show you what that is in a minute, to an employer, then you are technically working for yourself. So it's important to ensure you are not working for yourself, because that does contravene your visa. In the UK, we have what's called a minimum wage. That is the minimum an employer can pay you per hour. And it's important to know this because this is your right. If an employer offers you less than the amount shown here, so there may be 1 or 2 of you who fall under the under 18 bracket. Most of you will be 18 to 20, 21 to 22 or older. Those are your hourly rates. So if you get a part-time job in a shop or a restaurant or doing work at the university, your hourly rate should not be less than these amounts. And a national insurance number is kind of like a social security number or a tax number. Anyone can apply for one as long as you're in the country. And you ring that by contacting the National Insurance Contact Centre, and they will process that for you. Once you have, it's a little number, usually starts with a letter, you then give that to an employer, and that calculates your tax, how much tax you pay, and also shows that you are working in the UK. It's just a way for the tax man to keep track and get their tax, but you need it to legally work in the UK. Boost your experience levels. Now is a safe space. It's the best time to do this. It's the best time to explore what's out there, what you're good at, what you enjoy. By doing things like joining a sports club, and employers really do value these extracurricular activities or other activities, because you gain a number of skills. So for instance, sports clubs, it's teamwork, problem solving, communication. That's not all the skills you get. I've just taken a sample of skills that you gain from doing these activities. Volunteering, it's interpersonal skills, confidence, resilience, commercial awareness, understanding around the sector, the charity sector. By joining a society, you can gain presentation skills, negotiating and influencing skills, and networking skills. Part-time work will help you with your communication and language, business language, and team working. Business language is a level of language that means you can operate effectively in a business setting, that you can have confident conversations with your colleagues, with clients, and that you're able to use business terminology. Placements help you to build on your commercial awareness, so understanding the sector you want to work in, the types of companies you want to work in, project management skills, resilience, and analytical skills. Project work, and this can come in the guise of many different opportunities, either through your program or finding that project work through Careers Connect, the online platform, and that can help you with teamwork, problem solving, presentation skills, leadership, but also working cross-culturally is another one as well, because you might be working with a project team based somewhere else in the world. Internships, so project management, organizational skills, and time management, and again, working cross-culturally. Shadowing and insight weeks, and this is mainly for first-year students, you can gain skills such as time management, organizational skills, and communication skills. So if you didn't know, as a first-year student, internships are mainly aimed at second-year students before they go into their final year. But for first-year students, a lot of companies offer what's called insight weeks. And this is a short week or two where you can go gain an insight into the company, shadow somebody that's, you'll be partnered by somebody within the company who can help you to understand a day in the life of an accountant, a day in the life of an engineer, a day in the life of a software developer. And you gain an understanding of how the company works and what you would be expected to do in that time frame. The skills that are in demand by employers, and this is globally. So as I said, I work with 600 employers globally, and that includes PwC, Hilti, EY, C, Shopee, Alibaba, New Skin, and they're looking for skills such as adaptability. The way businesses operate will change, and those employees need to be flexible enough to be able to adapt with those changes. We've seen this through the pandemic. They want their employees to be flexible in terms of how they work in order to maintain productivity and profitability. Creativity is a massive, that has risen up the demand level for employers. Again, it's to do with being able to change quickly, but being able to create and problem solve in that time to maintain business practices and business services, and being creative in business is a massive skill in demand. Data literacy, understanding customers and data so businesses can use this to thrive. Leadership around change, and inevitably requires people who can inspire teams to create change. And emotional intelligence. In times of uncertainty, the ability to understand and read emotions is absolutely essential. Being able to read your team, to get the most out of your team, to get the most out of yourself, you need to be able to read other people's emotions and understand how your behavior affects others, your decision-making affects others, but also read how other people are being affected by decisions being made within the organization and how you can manage that. and an ability to work remotely. So hybrid working patterns are likely to continue for some time. If not, I know in some of the top Times 100 employers have actually just embraced it. That's it now. Hybrid working is the way they're going to go from now on, because it is a cost saver, and the productivity of the employee has not been affected by remote working. In fact, productivity in a lot of instances has gone up because people are enjoying working remotely in some aspects. Not everybody, but it works quite well for a lot of businesses. So working after graduation. After graduation, can I work in the UK? And it depends. So you'll need a visa to work in the UK after you graduate. And those visas could include the skilled worker route, which is where at the moment you're on a student visa, the university is your sponsor. If you switch into the skilled worker route, then the employer becomes your sponsor. So it's finding an employer who will become your sponsor. You work in the UK for up to 5 years. And then you can apply for what's called indefinite leave to remain, which means you can stay indefinitely in the UK and apply for citizenship if that's what you want to do. So that will be covered by the visa sessions at the end of this month in more detail. So do sign up if that's something that you want to be more informed. As I said, the more information you have, the more empowered you're going to be. Do not expect all employers to understand the visa processes, because they don't all have immigration experts. The more you know, the more empowered you are to have positive conversations with employers about working on a visa. Some employers will cite outdated information. They might not even engage with you because they're afraid of saying the wrong thing, because it's all legislation and immigration and bureaucracy. But if you research what your options are and know what steps an employer needs to take, then if an employer seems uncertain, or they're giving you outdated terms like tier 4, tier 2 that don't exist anymore, then you can have that conversation with them or refer them to resources to help them to understand better. And also the graduate route, which was introduced last year. The graduate route enables you to stay in the UK for up to 2 years, 3 years of your PhD, and that enables you to work for anybody. So the employer doesn't have to do anything. It's no additional cost to the employer at all. You are here working in the UK, and it's a great safety net if you're looking for a sponsor. So if you want to stay in the UK longer term, but you need to get that sponsorship and you've not quite got it by the end of your academic studies and the end of your student visa. But also it's a great opportunity for those that just want a bit of experience and then go home or go elsewhere in the world. And then if you are interested in starting your own business, we have an enterprise centre called Work in Progress on campus that can help you to develop your business plan, understand what the gaps are potentially in the economy for you to build a business idea. And also they operate all the Entrepreneur Exceptional Talent Investor Startup Visa. And for more information, do use the QR code. That brings you to the UKISA website, and the UKISA website has all the information that's on the government website, but it's written in a way that is understandable, because the government website, as we know, can be a little bit complicated. So this UKISA have translated that information into more accessible information for our students. So the UK graduate schemes, just so that you understand. So in the UK, we have what's called a UK graduate scheme or UK graduate programme. It is a job. It is a job that can be anything from 1 to 3 years long. It's usually run by big international firms, and what they're doing is it's a training program. So you're paid, you're an employee, you're sponsored. A lot of these big companies sponsor, and they hire you to work and train in a specific area, potentially marketing, leadership, logistics, analytics, whatever it may be, and you do rotations around the company in different departments to get a good insight into how the organization works. And then at the end of your graduate scheme or graduate program, you move into a full-time position within the company. So this is very common practice in the UK. Graduate schemes and graduate programs do exist in other countries quite extensively. They come under different names. They could be fast track leadership program, or Leaders of the Future or future programs, whatever they're called, they're all essentially the same thing. So it's a job. Applications are open now, and some application deadlines are the end of October, start of November. Some do go on to December. A lot of companies, especially those overseas, so if you're looking to return home, a lot of the overseas companies will close very soon. So do have a look online on Careers Connect, but also look on the company careers pages, and understand. Don't wait till the closing date, because I've had that recently where I recruited for Unilever China recently, and I got about 25 applications in the last hour before applications closed. Now that was fine, but if the servers went down or your internet broke or your CV suddenly disappeared, it's leaving it to the last minute is not a sensible option. Also, recruiters do look at your applications as they come in. So if you're wanting to make a good impression, apply early, show you've done the research, show that you're motivated, and don't leave it to the last minute, because a last minute application can show that it's hurried, it's rushed, and there's not a lot of thought been put into it, that you've just thrown an application in. I understand that you might be busy and you might be managing multiple things, but try and embed your careers activities around, look at your academic timetable, your academic schedules, and look at deadlines and try and embed some time. Putting an application together, is instead of watching Stranger Things or any other programs that you might be watching online at the minute, take that hour and start on your application. Take that hour and research the company, look on the company website, Google them, really give yourself the best opportunities. The more time you put into your application, because it's quality over quantity. I've had students put in 3 applications and get offered a job versus a student who's put in 100 applications and hasn't heard a thing. Because recruiters know, they see thousands of applications every day. And they can see a generic application where no research has been done and it's rushed and no thought has been put into it. So spend the time. It is worth doing that. Some companies do have a rolling application. So that means that they don't have a closing date. So they might recruit all year. And again, they will have that clearly stated on the careers pages. So do research the company before applying. Michaelmas term, which is this before Christmas and then just after Christmas, is when the various rounds of evaluation and selection are made. So that can include a phone interview, online tests, online or in-person assessment centres, online or in-person interviews. And then a lot of the start dates for these programs are during the summer, and some of these programs who do want masters will wait till September. So they will have start dates between June and September, sometimes October, depending on where they are in the world. So again, be aware of your timelines, and companies will have that clearly stated on their graduate careers pages. So do have a look at those pages. Things to consider in the current climate: doing some online videos, a video CV, or uploading to your social media and LinkedIn. I haven't put LinkedIn on there, but LinkedIn is really important. LinkedIn allows you to have your CV online, but you can expand, you can put more information on there. You can add anything around files or publications, or if you've produced materials that you want to share with an employer, get it on LinkedIn. Contacting employers directly as well to offer your expertise, remotely or in person, is also, it's called a speculative application. And that's where an employer might not have a job advertised, but there's someone you want to work for, and it's contacting them directly by email with your CV and stating what it is you require of them. So usually cover letter, 1 A4 page, 3 paragraphs. First paragraph, why you want to work for them. Second paragraph, what are you bringing to the table? What skills, what knowledge have you got that you want to share with this employer? And third paragraph, what are you looking for? So is it a project? Is it an internship? And what's your availability? Yours sincerely, and then your name. So it's a really great way of, not a lot of employers either realize they need talent in a specific area, or they don't have the marketing budgets, especially for small companies. They don't have the marketing budgets of these big organizations to go out and hire graduates en masse. So it's worth looking at this as an option. And keep a positive and realistic outlook. The job market has slowed down some in some areas of the world. You know, we have these ongoing, as I said, economic issues across the world in various different guises. So it's important to have a realistic but keep positive, and keep up to date on the news. If you don't watch the news, start watching the news. Start looking at the news in the labour market you want to work in. Be innovative and upskill with various online platforms. Employers want you to be active, be able to run a meeting on Zoom, be able to use Slack, Yammer, and other software applications, and make use of the career service. We are here to help. So if you are struggling, you just need to engage with the career service. And if employers are holding online events, stay visible, be there. If they ask you to turn your cameras on, turn your cameras on. Be prepared to be visible. If you are just a black screen with a random name, they're not going to remember you. They're not going to remember you in interview. They're not going to remember you in applications. If you all stay quiet, and I've run interviews and recruitment sessions with employers where the entire screen was black, nobody put the camera on, nobody asked a question, nobody did anything, and it's the employers just, they don't get feedback from that. So for them, none of you, potential applicants stood out. So it's important, if the employer asks for you to turn your camera on, turn your camera on. Something like this, like a webinar, you don't need your camera on, and you won't be able to talk anyway. But for a recruitment session, if they want you to talk, if they want you to contribute to the session, try and contribute. Do research before the session and get yourself in a position where you can turn your camera on and you're not too worried about being disturbed, because that will make a great first impression. So you can contact us, and you can use Careers Connect to book a careers appointment with LUMS or with the Central Careers team. You can have alumni access as well. So if you're a recent graduate or you're due to come to the end of your program, then you have access as well. Access to events and vacancies. And for those of you who haven't already, do join the International Careers Teams channel. So thank you. I'll put that back on just so if you haven't had a chance to get both QR codes. If you just Google as well, Lancaster University Careers Connect, it would also come up. So if you can't use the QR code, just Google Careers Connect. I will be running another session later today at 12 o'clock online, and that session was shared in the newsletter, and that's prepare for the fair. Now the autumn fair is coming up, and it's going to be in a couple of weeks, and it's going to be on campus, but there will be some virtual employers coming as well. But there will be a number of other fairs in different schools. So this prepare for the fair is around the autumn fair, but is relevant for any fairs that you might be attending either in person or online. So I really encourage you to, because we've all been out of practice with fairs, we've all been out of practice with the in-person events. I really encourage you to attend the event if you plan on going to any of the fairs on campus in any of the faculties. It's really important to kind of get your information right, and also to present yourself in a positive way. So if you haven't already signed up for that session at 12 o'clock, please do. The information is in the email I sent to you on Friday and yesterday. Today, sorry, Friday and today. So do have a look at that. So I'm going to answer the questions now, and I've got some questions. Is there a list which LUMS has where we can find companies which sponsor visas? The link on the UK visa website is very messy and has 5,000 records plus. The answer is no one has that list, because that list exists as the sponsor register. So the sponsor, the list of licensed sponsors in the UK, or the list of licensed sponsor register, is a list of over, and it has doubled. So in 2019, that had about 30,000 and now has nearly 70,000 companies across the UK which have a sponsor license. And that's for the skilled worker route, and other, if there are smaller charities, they have different visas, but the skilled worker route, that is the list you need to be using. So it's a case of, cross-referencing that list. So if you see a job vacancy come up, then you literally will search for that company on that list and see if they're on there. If they have a sponsor license, apply. You can still apply if they don't have a sponsor license. Employers, they cannot reject you based on your visa status. So that is the legislation in the UK, that employers must hire you regardless of your country of origin. And even if they don't have a sponsor license, they can get one. Now, legislation is slow to embed, but it is happening, and employers are embracing the sponsored route and the skilled worker route. So do, if you don't have that list, do get the link to that list. It is updated regularly, so don't download it as a CSV because that will change. So do make sure that you just bookmark the link. I'll try and get the link in a moment, and then we can you can see it. Also, the information is online, so you will find the information online. What if we are an exchange student and are here with visitor visa as a Canadian and looking for internships for winter? You cannot work on a visitor visa, so you're going to find it difficult to get internships over the winter. It's definitely worth looking online to see if there's something that you can do back home, whether it's a remote project back home over the winter period, but it's not really, as a visitor visa, you're on a different type of visa, so you need to have a look at that. Where can we sign up for the visa sessions? I sent the email round on Friday and this morning, so if you haven't seen it, do have a look. The visa sessions are in the email. And for the graduate scheme option, do you apply this when they are in their final year about to graduate? So so you will, if you're starting your final year now is the time to apply. If you're starting your master's now is the time to apply. Thanks, everyone. I have a question about part-time jobs. Do we have to pay taxes if we get one? Yes. So if you start a job in the UK without your national insurance number, you are taxed 50% of your earnings. Now you can, it's called emergency tax. You can claim that back once you get your national insurance number. So it's important to get your national insurance number as soon as possible, so you're not in that position, because claiming it back can be annoying. I've been there, I've done that when I came to the UK, I needed to apply for one. But once you have claimed it back, it's fine. Also as well, employers are a bit suspicious if you don't have a national insurance number and hiring you. Obviously not in the university, they're used to that, but outside the university, employers can be a bit suspicious. So to avoid any uncomfortable conversations, get your national insurance number. And the tax, there is you have to earn so much before you start paying tax. So once you have your national insurance number, you'll get your tax back, and you can earn up to a certain amount, and that the tax office will let you know what that is before tax kicks in. So it depends on what that is at the moment. I hope that helps. So also as well, just so you know, we are going to be having, and I didn't put this in the email, but we will have the online Ask Me Anything sessions, which will be the first Wednesday of every month. And I'll share that in the next newsletter. And they happen once a month, and it's an opportunity for you to ask questions like this or any questions that come up. Obviously, if it's very, very, very specific, I would advise you to book an appointment. But if it's a general question and you just want a quick answer, then the Ask Me Anything sessions are a really good drop in. Brilliant. So those are the questions. Let me just check the chat. So we've not had anything in the chat, so that's fine. So if you do have anything and I hope that you've all really enjoyed this presentation, and that you understand the different resources available, and can make the most of this time, because it does go really quick. Believe me, you know, I feel like I only graduated yesterday. I won't tell you how long ago it was a while ago. But it's definitely worth engaging with the services that we have on offer to maximize your opportunities. You know, good grades do not equal good jobs. Employers look for good grades. Obviously, they want good grades, but at the same time, they want to see what you did outside of that, because that is equally important, because it feeds into your skills. Employers are finding that those students who are so focused on academic studies, when they join the company, they don't have the skills to integrate effectively in the workplace. So having those extra, you know, finding time for a club or a society or starting a new hobby is a great way to build up those skills. So if you're not doing it, do have a look at what's on offer on campus. For overseas, what's on offer in your home campus as well is important. We have got a YouTube channel, and again, I will share that in the next newsletter We are populating the YouTube channel, which will have some recordings. Now, all the events that I share with you, this is really important. If you sign up for an event, attend. If you don't attend events that you've signed up for, I've had the likes of Shopee run a webinar with me where I have 100 students signed up and 10 turn up, and it looks bad. The company doesn't want to work with you again. Now, I have a good relationship with them where they're looking at coming back, but you have to be really, if you're going to sign up for an event, come to an event. Make sure that you have those events in your diary so that you're not going to miss them. But we will, where we can, not all employer events will be recorded, because some of these employer events they're hosting on their own platforms, so we won't have access to recording. But where we can record, we'll try, but I can't always guarantee it, because even if we are hosting it on our platform, the employer might have some caveats where they don't want the event to be recorded. So do be aware of that. But we will share the social media with you on the next email, if that's okay with everybody. Okay, so I am going to stop recording there. Thank you everybody for attending today. It's been a great event, great turnout, and I hope to see you all at the upcoming webinars. If you haven't already registered, do check the emails that I sent you, and I will see you in an hour for some of you, and I will see you in a few days at the next event. Have a good one.